What is up? We are back with the right side of the hook. I am your host, Keegan with Best Bets Daily, and I have my boy here, SharpDimes. Sharp, how have you been, brother?
Been good, man. It's been a while, bro. We missed each other the last couple of weeks, so glad to see your face, my dude.
I know it. We've been playing phone tag for like 3 days now.
Horrible, bro.
I think you're it, by the way.
What was that?
I think you're it, by the way.
I'm it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, on phone tag.
Usually it. Usually
it. Yeah. So how's everything been running, bro?
Dog, we're good. Let's actually pull this up a second ago. Last 5 days have been pretty good. 12-6 plus 12.4 units. So that's been good, man. It's been real good. Last night we missed the boat play. Those always suck to miss, but I'll still take last 25, 18-7. Not a bad mark at all. 3-unit plays have been. Oh, yo, T-Ho. I'll see you in the comments. Yo, we take all questions. Shoot.
Always.
We
always.
Shoot. We'll prep. We'll prep the stat. But yeah, all questions, all plays, all questions, whatever. Anything you want. You want to talk about something other than betting? Yo, we're you guys. But yeah, man, it's been dope. It's been dope. You've been on the heater though. Last 40. What are you? 27-13, something like that.
27-13 in my last 40 MLB plays. That puts us at 67.5% in our last 40 MLB plays. Feeling pretty good. I mentioned it last week. I was struggling the start of MLB, and it was like I think I was just trying to do too much, and I've kind of gone back to my roots. Went back to my first 5 innings. I really love first 5 innings, and have gotten hot and rolling now, which it's funny because I don't have any first 5 inning plays today. So, but
don't tell them
nothing. yeah. But we're rolling, and we're hoping to keep it going. It's 67.5% in the last 40, and then that puts us at 60% total MLB plays since opening day. So, got to keep that going.
Yeah, man. Shit, that's a fucking run. That's a fucking run. My boys in the comments. If y'all don't know shit about percentages and what's good and not, that's godly, son. That's gold gun and golden eye. Dude, 1-shot kill, boy. So congrats on that, man. That's a hell of a run. Real shit. Yeah. I'm just saying that. It's crazy, dude. Jesus Christ.
I appreciate it. So I saw that you were back with some NHL plays. NHL Times is back.
I know. Go ahead and throw T-Ho's question up on the board. I want people to know that we're doing viewer questions out here.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, we are.
Yes, we do questions. That is in our resume always. Anytime you want to ask a question, we answer. So, and of course, the first comment really is no runs first inning. Man, people love these no runs first innings.
Dude, they're good angles if you got a great pitcher versus an above average pitcher. That's kind of the combination I like. And dude, DeGrom is now. I'm not saying I'm a Mets fan, bro. 0.31 ERA.
Dude, he is nice.
Dude, his career ERA is 2.3, son. That's stupid.
Yeah, he is nice. One thing I really
waste his talent because, dude, we love him, man. We really do.
Yeah. One thing I really like about him is his tempo. Like, he keeps a fast tempo, but it's very slow. Like, he's not one of those, like, I can't stand pitchers that are, like, super slow and, like, the tempo of the game goes slow. Mm-hmm. Like, he has a slow tempo but keeps that tempo of the game going and stays in his rhythm. And he makes guys sit in the box for 14, 15 seconds, and out of respect, they don't want to call time on him. And, like, it just – I really love how he operates the mound. It's really fun to watch. And when you're sitting in there for 14 seconds in a box waiting for a guy to throw, and he throws like 98 miles an hour. So when you're sitting in there getting comfortable for 14 minutes and you just get relaxed, and next thing you know, you have a fastball blowing right past you. I love his I just love his rhythm, really, and his identity.
He's got a good cadence for sure. For sure has a good cadence. Let's take a look at this guy's question. So first 5, let's take a look and see who we got matched up. Pulling it up right now. Damn, the Twins, that free play is looking bad, man. Twins are putting it on the Indians right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to the question at hand, though. So we have, I know Glasnow's going against Irving in Oakland. I like that one. I like that one more than the Mets one, even though DeGrom's the man. Nick Pivetta, he was like the dude in Philly for a while. I mean, he came on the scene, and he was looking real good. Then he kind of came back down to earth. So that wouldn't be bad. I really like the Athletics one. I say between those two, what's the juice on each? Let us know for sure. Do I think the Mets give run support? Yeah, they have been scoring. A lot of shit talking going on in New York right now with the Mets and how offensively they can't hit and how Lindor has been slacking. So maybe, but I don't know. I feel like you might have to pay a little more for no run first inning there. I like the Oakland and Rays one. They really haven't been getting going early at all. Those bats have been moderately quiet. And Glasnow, he's you got to look at offensive lineup versus pitcher. And in this series, Oakland and Tampa, they really haven't scored. Do you think the Mets get one on Pivetta early? Do you think they come out aggressive after all that talk? Not sure. I think both are a good play, actually, but I'm really curious to know the juice on both of those. And go ahead and throw that in the comments because we love to know.
Yeah. Just to go to your Lindor comment, I have zero stats to back this up. But being a Cleveland Indians fan, I've watched Lindor for several years now. Right here in this part of the year is when he is the quietest. It's when he's the slowest. He ends up picking it up here about, we'll see here, we're about to be in May. Here into May, early June, he really picks it up and rolls for the season. So be ready for him to end up picking that up. The Rays no-run first inning is minus 170.
Good reason for it. What the DeGrom one is, go ahead and throw that one in there as well. I'd love to know. I have to imagine it's in that same realm. Has to be.
I would think so. Realm. I actually thought this one was going to be a little lower. I thought it was going to be like 155, 160.
Me too. Nick Pivetta is good though. If you don't know him, watch a couple. YouTube him. Nick Pivetta, Phillies. Kid's got some stuff, and the Mets can't hit. Both look good, man. Both 170. Look at that. I'm not a parlay guy.
T-Ho's getting some better odds. He has minus 154, that range that we kind of thought it was going to be in that Tampa and Oakland. So
that's the Tampa Oakland one.
That just shows the difference in books, man.
Yeah, have a few. Like I have one big book. I post all my tickets on there, but since it's probably been not speaking for a long time, and I got two other books now. And speaking of, if you need a good book, all three of those are locals. One, the big one, can't get you on there, but the other two handle big amounts. So with bonuses. So any you guys need, hit me up. And I'm not a spokesperson. I'm not paid, and it's not a paid spokesperson ad like a ShamWow guy, nothing like that. I get these questions a lot more earlier being on camera than lately. So just want to give back. But that's why you want to shop around, and that's why me getting two books was thinking nice to shop around. It really, really is. That's interesting, man. Oh, he took it at 2 a.m. Yeah, those are the witching hours, bro. You definitely want to be around there at that time, for sure.
Well, Sharp, let's get into some plays. Okay. I don't do NHL. You do. Do you have any NHL plays you want to give?
Yeah, of course.
You hit three 3-unit plays yesterday, right?
No. Since the return, I posted a Joe Namath GIF on the 24th of April. Was it 24th, 23rd? Saying that I'm going to end from there on double-digit units, and I might have to get a Joe Namath jersey if I finish up double-digit units because it's been fire. But since then, 3-0. We had the both play last night, the Rangers and the Sabres. Scoreless first period killed us. We had the over, ended at 4, and tough to overcome, scoreless periods. We'll see a first period, so kind of sucked. But I am on one NHL play. It's a really strong 3-unit play. Just to give some context for new guys in the chat, etc. My 3-unit plays historically, 104, 74, and 1, 58.3%. So these are the ones you kind of want to hit. I know people love the boats, but the 3-unit plays are my strongest plays. Boats are just super rare. So you consider a 3-unit play best bet. And ironically today I got Got two 3-unit players, so dual 3-unit action. But let's get to what you guys came for. The play. Going with the wild, juicy. Part is the cost of doing business in baseball and NHL, especially in NHL, way more than baseball. Minus 150 on the juice. You might have to pay a little more depending on where it's at. And here's the right, the Wild, dude, they come into this game, they won 7 straight. And that's after 4 straight road wins. So they're not just eating home cooking, eating mama's food. Like, they're doing this shit on the road. Very tough to do in hockey, especially with the way they're scheduling. A lot different than NBA. When you're on the ice, a lot more taxing fatigue-wise. So that's really impressive to me. But here's the big thing. They're 13-0. 13-0 as a home favorite since January 28th. Tough trend to ignore. Tough trend to ignore. You guys heard me on baseball and hockey. Most statistical, numbers-based capping I'll do is that. More in baseball because no clock, but hockey has it. Not always, and I wouldn't say it always, not full realm, like only numbers, but the heaviest weighted. But I like that stat. That stat in any sport is beautiful. So January 28th, 13-0 is a home favorite. Fits here. Blues, 4-12 in the last 16 as an away dog. Boys, but beautiful so far in terms of coming into this game, what these guys are doing. An angle I also really like here is the Wild at 12-6 revenging a loss. Now, my revenge angle, this is how I do it. I use a 30-day timer since the last game. That's how I do my revenge stat. And in the trip to St. Louis on April 9th and 10th, they lost 9-1, brutal, and 3-2. So I really love the Wild to continue that trend at home. Revenge here. They're playing great hockey in St. Louis, not that great as a road dog. And I think the Wild get them back for that early April beatdown. So, I'm on the Wild for 3 units to win 3 units, of course.
I like that angle. And those stats line up together really well. I really like that angle. T-Ho asks, I'm curious on y'all's outlook on live betting compared to locking something before start time. I don't want to speak for Sharp here, but for me, I'm not a huge live bettor. And it just kind of goes with how my outlook is. If I study a game and I lose, a lot of the times I see if I absolutely lost or if it was just unfortunate. Like if I was on the wrong side, there's several times that I've lost a bet that I've been on the right side in my heart. Like I still felt like I was on the right side. It was just unfortunate. It didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. So in that is with live betting, whenever I do that, like sometimes I just put so much of my work and brain into looking at a play that I can't get that out of my head when I'm looking at a live spread. Like when I'm looking at live odds, like if I thought a total, let's just say Marlins and Brewers, I liked it today under 8. And then all of a sudden it goes live and it's over, or if the total's 9, and I liked the under already. I just say, all right, I'm already on 8. Like I'm not going to go ahead and do 9 too. Like, and then even if it goes to 7, like I already liked 8. So like, why do I want to go even further down to 7? I don't like it. I overthink a lot of live betting. Like, and you can kind of tell as I'm kind of talking, it's probably not making sense. I just overthink. It makes a lot of sense. I overthink a lot of live betting, so I don't mess with it too much. The only time I do live betting is if there is a team that I liked as a favorite that I knew that they were going to start off kind of slow. This is more basketball. If they start off slow and I still feel like, hey, that was in my analysis, I knew that they were going to start off slow, and that money line kind of flips where all of a sudden they're plus money, I'll jump on that. But it's not very often.
No, it's good analysis. Really good analysis. So I'm a big pre-flop bettor. All you poker guys means, before the game starts, right? Pre-flop. Before the rip, pre-flop, you guys get it. If I'm going to take a game live, I'm going to look at the game pre-flop and say, okay, this would be a good live spot. And then I have a number in my head on the side I want and the number I want, and I'll watch to see if it hits that. And if so, you take it. You got to have kind of a parameter and a kind of like your floor number you would take, as I'm so known for saying floor and ceiling number that you would take. You'll know it's a live spot, or I'll know it's a live spot pre-flop. And I'll say, okay, because when I cap a game, I'm not just saying this team will win, they're better, cool. I have a flow of how I think the game's going to go. That's how I cap. I'm trying to predict not the outcome only, but how I think the game flow will go, in milestones, basically, after the first quarter, second quarter, etc. So some games are looking, and I don't do many live plays. It's tough on VIP to sell live plays because the number fluctuates so hard. You have to have a really wide gap of, your floor has to be way under what the live is. So tough. But personally speaking, it's a number pre-flop that I'm like, listen, if I get it at this number, I would love to take it. And that's kind of how I attack lives. I have a predetermined number that I would take on a team that I'm looking at.
Yeah, you mentioned that, and I kind of mentioned it as well. That's something that a lot of people don't realize is capping. Like, it's really not like you're not looking at two teams and just saying, "Yep, the San Francisco Giants are going to win this game." Like, you really, like, when you're looking at it, like, a lot of people don't do this, but a lot of cappers, they kind of like already are predicting how the full game's going to go. And they have different scenarios. Like, I mean, there's several ways. Like, I'm on the Giants tonight. There's several ways that I think they can win that game. Like, it doesn't just have to go the way that I think it's going to go, but I have multiple ways of like why I think the Giants can win the game. So like, yeah, it's not just sitting there going, "Yep, I like the Rangers. We're taking them tonight." Like, there's just like we're predicting the game as well in our analysis.
Yeah, and that's not saying that you have to have the game flow down to a science. If the team's just that much better and there's a lot of different angles, yeah, cool. You don't have to be like, okay, I got to predict the first quarter, second quarter, not like that. But you at least want to have some kind of general outline, even if it's a bird's eye view. Hey, over the course of the full game, X, Y, and Z will happen, and that's why I think they'll cover. So it doesn't have to be that deep. On your strongest plays, you definitely should have more of a defined, detailed, outline or mapping how the game's going to go, but not a need to do, And with live betting, you really want to have that type of cap. It's like, all right, at 6, I don't like them, but, at some point, and you're not saying it's going to happen, but at some point, if, other team gets off the hot start, probably get them at 13, I would take that, So it's just all about where you see the number possibly getting to. And if it doesn't happen, don't force it. But yeah, that's kind of how you should be looking at games, and not a need to do. Again, I want to stress that, not a need to do.
For sure. All right, let's get into a couple of games. You can still ask questions in the comments, and we will get back to you as well. But let's go over a few games. You mentioned some NHL. I'm back on my NBA kick, and I've still been kind of rolling. So
glad you did. College basketball and NBA translate very well.
Do you have any NBA plays for us, sir?
I'm working on now. Nothing yet. A couple of interesting spots I like. But I've done baseball. I'll get to that play after NBA that I just released. Another 3-unit spot. NBA, a couple of spots, grab my attention. But that's why we're here. So let's talk about what you're on. You seem to have a play since you brought up NBA. So as always, intrigued to hear what you got right now.
Yeah, so I have one play. I'm going with the Utah Jazz -8 tonight against the Sacramento Kings. Sacramento is 2-6 against the spread in the last 8 games against a team with a winning percentage of .600 or better. And the Kings are also 1-3-1 against the spread in the last 5 home games. And then they are also 1-6-1 against the spread in their last 8 games. Against the spread in the last 6 meetings overall in this series. I like Utah. I really think that they will be able to jump on the Kings early and control the game.
So, not mad at you there at all. Kings getting, oddly enough, a lot of love. People must not remember when Sacramento went to play Utah, and Sacramento was covering the whole game, my boys. They were up in points for that game, even in the second half. Controlled the first half. Up in the third, well, Utah, they're pulling the old school Warriors third quarter smackdowns that they've been doing. And they covered that game as 11-point favorites when they were down like most of that game. So I really like Utah. I really do. I think the Kings are getting a lot of love lately. They haven't really been playing anyone of note. They covered against a couple of good teams lately, but I I think people are kind of slipping on Utah and thinking these injuries are really going to hinder them, but they're just a really well put together team. Great coach. Like I said in many shows before, the locker room and the chemistry with that team must be the most comfortable chemistry ever. You got Jordan Clarkson dropping buckets, and everyone's just doing what they do best and not trying to go outside of that, which is really, really big in any team setting, in any sport. So I like that. And I like that the Kings are getting a lot of love for some reason. The line's kind of shading the opposite direction of the
well, and that's probably why they're getting love, is how that last game went. You know, the public is probably looking at that going, well, that was a fluke. You know, the Jazz shouldn't have covered that game. The Kings were controlling the game, and then the Jazz took off at the end. So, like, people are probably looking at it that way when really you should look at it as in the Jazz are a better team and kind of struggled in the first half.
Speaking of that, you got A. Lewis in the comments saying Conley was just ruled out. Let me pop in the beast in here. I believe our man, but I want to see what injury he has. Didn't know that. Did you know that?
I did not. I still like it. I'd probably drop it down from a 2-unit to a 1-unit play, just to give myself a little bit of insurance there. But I still like that 8. I like the way that Rudy Gobert's been playing, Jordan Clarkson's been playing, and I just think, like you already said, I think they're better coached, and that team really knows that the Jazz are not a team that rely on anybody. They rely on everybody just doing their job. So I really like that, and I think that saves you when it comes to things like Mike Conley not playing. A. Lewis 182 said hamstring for Conley.
Yeah, so but I think with Fox out, he's been out for 3-4 days already, but I think that kind of negates that. The line's kind of says everything you need to know, man. I mean, unless the Kings play a ridiculous game and shoot great and Buddy Hield just ridiculously goes off and they play a well put together game, I'm not sure how they stay in it. Jazz should be good there, man. I wonder where that line drops to now, and I wonder when that news was dropped. I'm going to take a look at Fantasy Labs. And if you guys don't follow Fantasy Labs on Twitter, they do Fantasy Labs NBA, MLB, etc. They have one page for each, and they're great at reporting. So big shout out to them. Let's take a look here. Let's see what we got. Fantasy Labs.
I still have it at 8. So it hadn't really dropped to me. It opened at 9. I have it at 8.
Oh wow, this might have been a while ago. Yep, this was 15 hours ago. Yeah, so that was been known. Okay, the way it was said, and maybe I was just be overrating it. Yeah. Okay.
All right, Sharp. Well, you typically do your NBA a little bit later in the day, but from my understanding, you have done your baseball work this morning, correct?
Oh yeah, definitely done baseball work this morning.
You have one play. I get the luxury of getting to hear some of your plays before we go live. So there's one I really want you to start on. So if you don't mind, give these guys some plays.
Okay, second for you to play. It's going to be, I wouldn't say it's a tough play, but relatively speaking for my test, unless you know these two teams really well, and more the Rangers than the Angels, we're going 3 units on the Rangers money line. Dane Dunning. You guys, that name may sound familiar because he was a stud young pitcher for the White Sox last year. Went 2-0, nasty stuff. And like I say in The Godfather, man, the Rangers gave him an offer he couldn't refuse, and he ran with it. And he's nasty, man. He was probably going to overtake Giolito for that number 1 spot. I think they had really high stock from Rodon, and that's coming to fruition so far this year for the White Sox. But the Angels on the road, man, they have 180 numbers. And I ain't talking just the Houston Astros series where they were shut down. Dane Dunning he's an equivalent to Walker Buehler. I really see those two in terms of how nasty they are and how their strikeout to walk ratio and their whip. He has it. Alex Cobb on the other side, a 10-year, 11-year vet, opened with Tampa Bay. You thought he was going to get there, never did. Went to Baltimore, posted a 5 ERA in a couple of seasons. And that's hard to do, pitching 28 games. I don't hear about no run support, nothing. he just gives it up. And this year he's following suit. Like he pitched with Baltimore. And the Rangers, when Achilles heel, has always been their bats, but they've been hitting the ball lately. And even in Anaheim, they played them really, really well. We got the major advantage on the pitching mound. Texas is a tough place to hit. It really, really is. It's a big field, but it's a tough place to hit. And the full capacity thing is just a cherry on top. You got your stud pitcher going, and Alex Cobb just leaving a lot of pitches over the plate. And granted, Texas on paper may not have anyone that will blow you out the water, but what they're good at is hitting pitches that are hittable. I know that sounds crazy, but they're good at that. And just because I've seen a lot of their games, and that's why watching the games is big. Not during, obviously, time management, my boys, but watching those replays, you know. And I had the courtesy of randomly watching some Ranger games. Folkewicz last night, or Folkewicz, whatever, the dude who used to pitch for the Braves, who was at number 2, he really took down the Angels last night. And he's got control issues at the Yang. You got a better pitcher here. I think people, I think the markets, the betting, or the books rather, are going to make a lot of money here because I think the Angels are going to be tied into a lot of parlays. That price looks really enticing. And I just don't see how Texas doesn't win. With the pitching advantage, the bats hitting really well. And a lot of it does come down to the pitching. It really does in this game. And I see the Rangers getting to that bullpen real early. I see Dane Dunning going 6, maybe 7 innings. I don't see the Angels scoring more than 3 tops in this game. And I have Rangers in a 5-3, 5-2 type of game.
Yeah, I love it. I really do love it. I'm probably going to make this a 3-unit play for me after you kind of opened my eyes on it and I dove in. And everything that you've said is what I have now seen after going through this. You know, Cobb in his 3 starts this year, he has a 6.28 ERA and a 1.6 WHIP, and he's only thrown 14 in a third inning. And then the Angels bullpen has a 6.6 ERA over their last 7 games. Not to mention that the Angels are terrible on the road. They're 18-35 in away games when their money line was plus 125 to minus 125. So in games that they're supposed to be close in, that Vegas thinks is going to be a close game, they haven't been very good. That's only 34% win percentage. Dunning at home, he has a 0.82 ERA and a 0.77 WHIP of work at home. And the Rangers bullpen has been pretty respectable. 3.59 ERA and a 1.08 WHIP during its 11 home games this year. And then icing on the cake, since 2019, Texas has gone 13-5 at home against the Angels. Yeah. I love it. I absolutely love it. I cannot believe that I just let this game go right through my fingers and you brought it to my attention, and I love it this much.
Rangers play the Angels really good. I mean, granted, a couple of years ago, different from now, big difference in lineup. No Beltre, no Andrews. But earlier this season, they played really well in Anaheim. It's 2-3, if I'm not mistaken. And, dude, Dane Dunning is a fucking stud, dude. If he was still on the White Sox, I'll be sucking him off right now. He's that good. He was going to be the number 1 starter for them, guaranteed. But the Rangers, that was a great pickup for them. And I think they should lock him in for a while. He's got nasty stuff, man. And Angels is not that – they can't hit that one on the road. And Texas just has the number. Some shit teams or shittier teams just have a better team's number. And Angels, you know, they got really good name recognition because their record is okay, but road numbers is nowhere near home, and we got an amazing pitching advantage too. So I really like it. This is almost a boat play. Probably my strongest 3-unit play I've ever put out since posting online, and I mean that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, another play that I like. I'm going Reds. The Reds total over 2.5 facing Kershaw tonight against facing the Dodgers. My analysis on this game, I think this is a big price, but it's a big price on a terrible effort from Vegas. I really like the minus 130, and I think Vegas really screwed up here. Kershaw has been good since opening day of the Dodgers. And he needs to avoid a sweep. So, yeah, he's going to be going out there and he's going to be on his A game. But the Reds have lost 7 in a row coming into this series. So the Reds winning 2 games, you think they're going to lay down tonight against Kershaw? Hell no, they're going to try to ride this wave. And to only have to get 3 runs? And when your bats are this high, they have faced who they faced the first night? Did they face Urias the first night?
I think there was
They faced Buehler last night.
Yeah.
So they've had just as tough arms to face as Kershaw. I don't care who. Like, I know people think, oh, Kershaw's better than these guys. No, this freaking starting rotation for the Dodgers, all 5 of them are the same. I don't care what you say. All 5 of them are the same. They're all studs. None of them are more studs than the other. They're just
I think the Dodgers there's like the 2 best pitchers are Buehler and Bauer. I think Kershaw he's good, but he's definitely not on their level. And I think they got a solid rotation from 3 to 5 guys in the rotation, very strong. But I wouldn't put them and say that Bauer and Walker Buehler, they're way out of their class. But definitely a really good starting rotation, top to bottom. I would definitely agree with that.
But I'm saying there's not a huge, like, a lot of teams, like, you look at the Indians today. They had to throw Logan Allen. That's their 5th starter. Like, the Dodgers don't have that. The Dodgers have 5 really good starters, and the Reds have had to face 2 of them. And you're throwing Kershaw out there to just avoid a sweep. Like, you think the Reds are just going to roll over? Hell no. And you're telling me that I just need 3 runs to win that bet at minus 130? I love it. I absolutely love it.
I like that you're taking the team total and not them to win. Tough to sweep a team, especially with the caliber of the Dodgers. But the Padres and Dodgers, they played each other a couple of times, and the series after have been flat, win or loss in that series. So I really like that angle. And I think the Reds can win this game. I really do. But I think Kershaw giving up more than a couple. Beautiful spot. Really like it. I might tail that personally for sure. I will tail that personally. You got 2.5?
2.5. 2.5 at minus 130. Really might be the value of the day. Really. I mean, you're talking you have to get 3 runs. Hell, I don't even need 3 of them out from Kershaw. Get me 2. Get me 2 off Kershaw.
Yeah, dude, 2.5 for me is minus 150. Yeah, I might have to lock that in.
I love it. I don't know what Vegas is thinking there. I really don't.
It's a 1 word, Kershaw. Brand value is huge. Oh, come on. They probably moved the line on me. Dodgers put up 10 today. John Lillis, the homie. That's the big homie. Book it. Shout out. Big time.
John Lillis, I am totally okay with Dodgers putting up 10. I really am. Because when a team puts up 10, the other team, if they don't put up runs, they're at least hitting some homers. Kershaw's.
If they get to that bullpen again, dude, the Reds are going to put up probably 4+.
Yeah, I love that 2.5.
Max. They need a lot of innings from Kershaw today. Kershaw goes deep. It could be a nail biter. But I'd be willing to dodge something like that any day with the way the Reds are running right now. And they were horrendous coming into the series, which tells you how flat the Dodgers are because you guys remember, against the Diamondbacks. Oh, my God, the series was a nightmare.
Yeah, and I also, I might be wrong on this, but I think I'd have to go back. I really don't want to say this and be wrong, but off the top of my head, I feel like Kershaw's last 2 starts, I know his last one was against Darvish, but I think the one before that was against Strasburg. So you're talking about a guy who had to go out and be focused against Darvish, be focused against Strasburg, and no, it was Max Scherzer. He went up against Max Scherzer. So Scherzer and Darvish, and now you're going up against Sonny Gray? The focus is not going to be as high as people expect.
I think the focus will probably be there just because they don't want to get a broom against no one wants to get broomed. But I think the Dodgers do put up runs, but I think the Reds put up at least 3. That's not a big ask. And if they get Kershaw high in the pitch count by the 5th inning, and they see that bullpen, I think that's where it comes through for you. So not a bad look at all. Pretty low. Got to be minimum 3 flat. 2.5 is interesting.
Yeah. Any other MLB plays? Man, that kind of got me hot. I don't know why I'm talking that game. Just really put lead in my pencil there.
It's a good play. Let me see what the total is on that game period. I just want to see where we're at.
Probably 8.5, 9.
I think I'm gonna say 8.
Actually, if they're putting Kershaw into play, I'd say, yeah, probably 8, 8.5.
I see 7.5. Oh, 7.5. Interesting.
Do we collab and over there?
I just hear this for a unit. So
John Lillis, do we do a 3-way collab here for an over?
I think John likes the full game over if the Dodgers put up 10.
Yeah.
Or maybe just the Dodgers to win. Are Dodgers giving any good juice to us? Or probably not really. Nah, minus 205, pretty standard.
Yeah, I want no part of that. I want absolutely no part of that.
Hard. They're juicing them like they're they're juicing them like they're winning and not losing. You gotta love that.
John Lillis max betted LA minus 1.5.
Wow. Not a bad move, man. But again, you guys could both hit easily. It's not really conflicting plays. So
yeah, John Lillis, will you give me 3 runs though? Like I just need 3. You can win 10-3. I just need 3. That's not a huge ask.
Yeah, I think they get there. Definitely the play I would go with for sure. The total might be low just because again brand value, but I do think the Dodgers take this one, but I'd be more confident in taking the Reds team total over. Like those team totals. Hit one last night with Arizona Diamondbacks. Like those team totals. Now I'm starting getting more into that. But yeah, man, that's a really good look. Really good look. I think that goes to 3 within the next hour. And it's going to juice so much.
Yeah, when you start throwing units on that damn thing, they're going to be like, oh, shit.
Dude, what's up with the Indians right now? Jesus Christ.
They fucking suck.
Allen put it.
Please excuse my language. They just suck.
They I can't believe that. I mean, Allen from the rip was just giving it up, and I'm like, oh boy. It is what it is, but yeah, that first inning was brutal. But still a lot of game left. Seeing crazier things, but the free play ain't looking too great. So yeah, we'll see. You never know, man. You never know with these guys.
So one more play I have not come up with my units on this play. I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to do a 2-unit play on it. I like the San Francisco Giants money line tonight at home against the Rockies. The Giants have been a huge surprise this year with obviously no signs of slowing down so far. San Fran has won 7 of their last 10 games, and they're in a pretty good position to pick up another one against with Wood on the mound. Wood is 2-0 with a .75 ERA, having only given up 1 run in his 2 starts. So I really like it tonight at minus 145. I think that's pretty good odds there with a pitcher who's been pitching very well and a team that has won 7 of their last 10 games.
I think the Giants are getting so overlooked. They're playing some great baseball, man. They don't even have the roster.
Yeah, I mean
that should do that. And they're playing great ball. I think they're getting so overlooked. I love that play. I think the Giants are probably the most overlooked betting team in baseball right now, hands down. That's going to change soon, though.
Do you have any other MLB plays beyond that Rangers play?
Not yet. A couple other MLB spots that are intriguing to me, but I'll be working that in NBA. But just those 2 I gave out. There's all that. That's all that I got.
Paul G, keeping it PG2. What's up, fellas? What's up, my guy? Hopefully you're doing well. If you have any questions or any games you want us to look at, please put it in the comments.
What's up, fellas? Keeping it G2.
Man, 2.5.
Dude, it's so low.
That's like they put a 5 on Walker Buehler last night.
You've been smacking that bullpen too.
And Walker, I don't know if you watched the game. Walker Buehler His fastball, he didn't have very good command on his fastball. His strikeout pitches were on point. Like, they were absolutely on point.
Dude, they're so fucking like this, man. They're so like this.
And they've been that way for 3 years. It's pretty amazing.
But they're catching the Dodgers at a good time after that Padres series, man. Dude, this is how you got to put up the emotions, especially in baseball, man. Perfect example of that. Perfect example of that.
For sure. By the way, so last week we were talking. We talked about like relationships and being a capper at the same time and watching games. And when I got done, I walked downstairs. My wife was sitting there. And she was like, "I don't know if I was supposed to take that good or bad, but yeah, I think I don't care if you watch games." I was like, "Yeah, I know. I was giving you a compliment." So.
You're one of the lucky ones, trust me. A lot of guys in the comments probably could say it's not the case. You don't got to watch the games. I'm telling you, my boys. I'm sure you guys can get a little bit of time to watch a game, maybe not long. Watch it if it's close at the end. Use that time wisely. You don't need to watch the game unless you're live betting. And I know you want to watch the game. You want to see your bet. If it's something that's gonna be tumultuous for you, in terms of lady riffing at you, then bro, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. Just watch when it gets close, you know? You know how much time you guys have. I'm not in relationships. You know how much time you guys have to watch a game before it gets annoying. Use that toward the end. Use that at a valuable point in the game. That's how I play it. Utilize your time. By the way, Cubs versus Braves. I don't know, man. That's such a tough game to call. What's the over on that game? Or what's the total on that game? Sorry.
We have a huge Braves fan in here.
Do it.
A. Lewis, 182. Cubs versus the Braves. Let us know. But I'm going to look at this game real quick and give a quick rundown.
8.5. I don't know.
Hendricks is on the mound for the Cubs.
He's the ace. He finally had a good start last time out because he got shelled in the first two before that last game.
You're right. He was struggling.
But he pitched a really good game last game. The bats for the Cubs came alive. That's a tough one to call, man. It really is. It really, really is. I'm not sure then, man. That's the toughest one to call on the board. And if you are a Cubs or Braves fan, you don't got to bet the game because the team's playing. I know I say that a lot, but that's real talk.
Yeah, straight up. I mean, the Cubs this year, these two teams have now played 5 times. This is their 6th meeting. The Braves are 4-1. The only time that was close was 2 nights ago. The Braves won 8-7. Other than that, they won 5-0, 13-4, and 5-2. That the total has gone over 3 out of the 5 times. And the Cubs did beat them 13-4 on April 17th. That was the night before Hendricks pitched. I believe Hendricks pitched in that 13-4 game.
Mm-hmm. He definitely did.
You know, I think I would probably stay away after Hendricks pitched his last outing. He's started off slow, pitched well his last outing, and he's a good enough pitcher that you got to think that he's going to kind of figure it out eventually. But if you want to go off trends, the Braves have obviously had the Cubs number. I mean, they've put up in their 5 games, they've put up 5 runs, 4 runs, 13 runs, 8 runs, and 5 runs. So I really think you got to think that the Braves have the Cubs number. And if you really want to angle there, I think you roll with the hottest team in that series, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Cubs, man, their bats have come alive with the pit. Then it's like the pitching doesn't get there. The other team, I mean, I don't know. It's a coin flip, man. Right now, I mean, the Braves would be the play if I had to take this game. That's a coin flip game, man. And I'm sure you're asking, if you're asking because you got to play, let us know. Drop a one-liner as to why. But That's a coin flip game, man. It really is. Hendricks makes it a coin flip because if he has a decent start, Noah for the Braves, if he yeah, it's too many variables, man. They've seen each other a lot. I mean, Braves and Cubs play each other shit ton so far, like you said. So no, tough one. As the Twins continue to smack bombs out here. Damn, there are like a home run derby in that bitch.
Yeah, there was 2 nights in a row of home run derbies. There was the Cubs home run derby, and then the very next night, the Braves had a home run derby of their own. John Lillis, this man is wise. Who's wise? Is it Sharp wise now?
He was referencing the whole use your time per day that you can watch a game at the end of the game, blah, blah, blah. You know? Yeah, and Noah gave up 6 bombs that night, but is that not a coin flip game? Do you think Noah's going to give up that? Is he going to repeat that performance?
I really like this question right here, Sharp.
Yeah, I like that question too.
So, what are your top 5 things when you're handicapping an MLB game? I don't know if I can really just go ahead.
No, you go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Got it.
You go ahead. Okay. So again, baseball is more numbers driven, right? But a lot of the things in all sports that I do top 5, I'll kind of give that. Unless you want it only baseball specific, there might be one interchangeable thing. I'm a guy, when I look at trends, I don't look at last 5 on the road where, they were 4-1 because if they were against different teams. And in baseball, I might have to rephrase that because baseball against the same teams. When you look at trends in terms of how a team's been running, especially in baseball, because it's series-based. It's the only sport that's series-based outside of playoffs. Basketball to play different teams. Maybe you have now with the COVID schedule, back-to-back same teams. But baseball is the only sport that has series all year. So you have to look at relatable trends for pitching matchups. Yeah, they went 5-1 in the last 5 against whatever. But you have to look at the caliber of pitchers. Were they the same? Were the bullpens the same? You have to dig a little deeper in terms of trends. I'm big on that. I incorporate that in every sport. When you look at current form is big for me, but in-depth trends on current form. You can't just take the 5 last games or the 10 last games because they play in different teams. So it's skewed. If they played a shit team with shit pitchers, that's easy 3 wins or 2 wins, right? So in-depth stats, you have to really know the teams and know the pitchers. So a lot of this familiarity. Second thing is I like to see where the money's going early in the day. And that's why I don't really release my plays till late unless I really love something, because I want to get a better line. So typically I'll look at a line and say, okay, I really like this, but based on where I see the money's going, i.e. that Wager Talk site that I gave out, I'll post that on Twitter or DM me on Twitter or IG if you want it. It talks about where the money's going on about 7 different books. I like to see where I think the line's going to go to just to get the best value I can. Or if I feel like the line's going to get away. 3, obviously the injuries thing. I almost want to X that out because not really a big thing. One thing I do that is, again, very deep, my dudes. I like reading a lot of local news stories on teams, especially games that I'm real big on, because the local news is going to talk about little things here and there, talking to the coach. ESPN and all these major sites, they're not going to give you like, oh, how'd that press conference go, bringing the key points out. In Minnesota, it's going to be the Minnesota Herald or something. You want to look at news stories like that. It gives you a real good mindset on kind of, where coaches head at, players head at. And even though it seems very cliche, it's really, really big. 4 is if you have any contacts, I can tell you where sharp money is going. Use that. Use that. And don't use one site for everything because that doesn't exist. I have a site for weather. I have a site for trends. I have a database query site. I have the Wager Talk site where the money's going. So I'll share all that. DM me again, and I will share all that. That's probably, I would have to put that almost to number 1 in terms of number 4, having multiple sources for info, because there's many sites out there that are good at one thing, not one site that's good at many things. It's just not possible. So you have to have a Rolodex of like tabs or resources you go to. And then the 5th one is don't force anything. If you like a play and something, whether it's gut, and yes, gut is big in this game, or something that, okay, it looked good up until you saw these 2 stats, you have to lay off. Discipline, big time discipline, which always goes into not chasing. But chasing is a very new, if you're new to betting, you'll gravitate toward chasing because you have to think every day is a win. It's not. Trust me, 7-8 years in this game, sure Keegan can attest to this as well. You're gonna have bad days, bad stretches, right? Go with the plays you go with best. If you're a high volume guy, that's you. I'm a low volume guy, that's me. Don't force anything. If you're doing a play and you see two stats, that's like, oh shit, this play looked really good up until this, and it's hard to overlook. You gotta lay off. I know I threw a lot out there. I'm sure you guys can pick up tidbits out of the bunch of shit I just said that you like the most. Two biggest things, what I just mentioned on capping your play, seeing something you don't like, laying off it, have the discipline to do that, and having many resources for different things on the game, injuries, weather, etc. And I don't mind sharing that if you DM me, SharpDimes, Twitter, and Instagram. Those are probably the two biggest things out of the 5. But that's me. I know what I'm talking about. So
I like to a couple of things I like to do is I like to look at in the last 7 days. I love to see how a team matches up against right-handed pitching and left-handed pitching. And with that, there's two things that I like to look at. I like to look at their batting average against left-handed pitching and right-handed pitching, and I also like to look at exit velocity average on left-handed pitching and right-handed pitching. And the reason I do that is there is times that you will look, and in the last 7 days, they have hit 190, 200 against left-handed pitching. But if you look at the average exit velo, it sometimes can be higher than that average exit velo of right-handed pitching. So what that says is they're hitting the ball hard against left-handed pitching. Just sometimes it's not falling. For example, last night I had the Yankees over 5.5 runs. It didn't hit. I still think I was on the right side of it. They hit 3 home runs, and they were solo bombs. They had a man on first and second in the 9th. Didn't score. They had a total of 5 runs. All I needed was 1 more. But in the last 7 days, the Yankees against left-handed pitching was hitting 210, and that wasn't very good. They've lost all the games against left-handed pitching in the last 7 days. They were only hitting 210, but their exit velo was 4 miles an hour harder than against right-handed pitching. So what it told me is that they're obviously hitting the ball hard. Well, I went to look, and 2 of those games against left-handed pitching, the wind was blowing in by more than 10 miles an hour. So a few of those could have been bombs that weren't because of the wind. And then last night they were playing in Camden, so I was like, you know what? Left-handed pitching, they've been hitting it hard. They're going against Zimmerman, who's a lefty. In Camden, that ball loves to fly, so let's let it fly. Unfortunately, like I said, they hit 3 home runs. They were all solo shots. Another thing I like to look at for totals is I like to look at the weather. I don't let that be the judge of my total. I don't start my totals off there. If I see a total that I like, I finish it up by looking at the weather to make sure. If I like an over and that wind is blowing in, most of the time I kind of back off it. And if I like an over and that wind's blowing out, I up a unit on it. Another thing I also like to look at is I like to look at pitchers, how they vary at home games and away games. That we mentioned that 2 weeks ago. You know, you had Mal, who's pitches for the Reds. He's their number 2, and he's been pitching very well. But on the road in his last 17, he was 3-14. Now, another part of that is you got to look at who he's facing when he's when he's on the road. So he was actually pitching better on the road against good teams. 2 nights ago, he was on the road against the Dodgers. And I stayed away from it where I would typically bet against him because he pitches good on the road against good teams. So you got to kind of have to find that, you know, you can't just be like, oh, he pitches bad on the road. You have to dig a little deeper and see who he's facing on the road. Just go that one step further. And then one more thing I do like to look at is I love to look at umpires when I'm doing totals.
Very good call out.
There is several umpires who are above 55% on overs, and there's several umpires who are above 55% on unders. Now, there is a whole lot of umpires who stay even on both sides, but there is a handful on both ends of it that you have your umpires who like the overs, and you'll have your umpires who like the unders. Like, for example, Gabe Morales He's 60% on overs, and I really keep up with C whenever he's behind the plate, and kind of like to see. That's in the last 2 seasons. And then my top under guy is let's see here. It used to be Jordan Baker. Now I really like Mike Muchlinski. And he's actually, his under has hit like the last 5 times he's been behind the plate.
You would love Swish Analytics, that site. It's a really good site. That was a great call out. Swish Analytics I would say it's a one-stop shop, but their splits and their stats are amazing. You got umpire factors, so they'll have like strike call percentage, walk percentage. It's really, really deep. Swish Analytics might be one of the best newer sites I've come across in a long time. There's a lot there. I have a database query site that pulls up some of this, but this is a lot more easier, user friendly. You would love that. I'll again DM me, Keegan. I'll send this to you too. You would love this. If you click on that, it just breaks it down. It just less clicks is good. Time is money. I love Swiss Analytics. Yeah, Jim Joyce, man.
Jim Joyce, you're out of here.
And yeah, Angel CEO. Boy, you got a horrible strike zone. But yeah, that site is amazing. You guys would love it. I see you, Trent, in the comments. I see you, Nikki Picks in the comments.
Trent, is this the first time you've ever commented in our podcast?
Must be.
I really think it is.
I think so.
The CEO don't be showing us no love, but today he up in here.
He call you out, boy. I'm gonna get on that TikTok live after this, and we're gonna see what's up.
We need to do that dual TikTok live.
Yo, that's dope. I didn't know. Trent told me that this morning. I was like, what? I want to jump on live after this because it's been a while, and now that everything with the site's done and free time is more accessible, I'll be back on there like I used to be. But yo, look at Trent. Just realizing how fire the show is, bro. It's got your brand on the top, right, baby?
Every Wednesday.
Nikki, I dropped. Yo, if I have VIP plays, I'm gonna drop it on here, Nikki. You know how I get down. I ain't gonna be like, buy my VIP. But yo, if you want to, me and Midwest Mike, buy my VIP. But if I'm on here, I get my plays. I'm out on already because I ain't that guy. So 3 units Rangers money line baseball, 3 units Wild hockey. If you want to write up, I'll be on TikTok live after. Come see me, and we'll I'll get that out. But that's what I'm on.
I was about to say, Nikki Picks and Trent are in here. Let's go ahead and review some plays. You just gave them that. I'm going to give them the Reds total over 2.5. Trent, I think this will be great for you. You've been loving these Dodgers games. I think that if you take a different angle in this Dodgers game, I think you'll be very pleased with it. The Reds over 2.5 runs.
Love that play. So low. Thought it'd be 3 minimum.
3. They just need 3.
Just need 3. If they get to that bullpen by 5th inning, or even beginning of 6th inning.
I want 2 off Kershaw. I will take 1. I need 1 off Kershaw at least. That's all I need. I need at least 1 off Kersh, but I would love to have 2. And you're just talking a 2-run bomb. Kershaw will give up that any day.
Just gotta get him deep in the pitch count, man. That's what you do to good pitchers. If they're not hittable, you gotta get him deep in the pitch count. The first time around the order is gonna tell us a lot about how that game's gonna go.
All right. Well, it's time for us to close it up. We need to talk to the CEO. They cut us off after an hour, bro. We might need to we're hitting that hour, CEO.
Live after, yo. I'm down to do it live.
Yeah. Hey, come catch us on TikTok live after this. Thank you guys for tuning in with me and Sharp. We will be back next Wednesday. We always love being on here with you guys and interacting with you guys in the comments. It's always fun. So thank you for that. Sharp, you have any goodbyes for these fools?
Nah, we got a new lady doing the free video play tomorrow. Good friend of mine. The first one was cool. That girl, she's pretty dope, peoples. This girl, y'all gonna like it. Y'all know what's up, man. I like to give the people what they want. And as the videos get more popping, y'all know it's gonna get better and better. We got some crazy video plans now that we got all this free time. Yeah, I know I'm all about the content, and we're gonna Stevie Wonder some shit. Because your boy got all the equipment ready. So I got a couple of content videos I'm gonna do in certain locations. Yeah, stay tuned for that. I'm not even gonna like leak that too much. The video girl pics, we'll keep those coming more consistently, but the content in different locations is gonna be fire, and I definitely can't wait to finish those because again, I love making picks, I love making money, I love betting, and I love capping, but I love content just as much, if not a little more. So content's king. Be ready for that.
Yes, sir. All right, Paul G, what's your Twitter? You have at SharpDimes, and then you have me at BestBetsDaily. That is our Twitter. You can also find us on the Book It Sports app. I am at BestBetsDaily, and this is at SharpDimes. Also, Paul G, I want to thank you for your question on our 5 things we look at when we're handicapping the MLB game. That's one of the best questions we've had in the last couple of weeks. We really got to dive into that. That was pretty cool. So thank you for that. And thank you for everybody who tuned in. And we will see you guys next Wednesday.
Peace.